One of the things that helps is a follow-up process, one that tries to sell the crap out of whatever you offered on the webinar. You can basically you can double the amount of sales that you get from the webinar in the follow-up. You're taking a prospect that is ideally in a Doug situation, right? Desperate, urgent, gravity. What problems does your prospect or does your customers to be, your future customers, what problems do they have that have gravity? In other words, they have consequences, they're serious. They are desperate to get them handled, and they want it handled yesterday. Because if you really knew what had motivated someone, once they tell you what is really driving them, the likelihood of them being able to say no is not very high. And so people just generally do not give that information off the cuff, but they're not necessarily hiding it either. I've made countless million-dollar sales in my career, and in this video, I'm going to tell you how you too can achieve those numbers. If you've been around in the marketing world long enough, you might have heard of me. I've had the privilege of working with people who went on to achieve huge success in the space, like Todd Brown, Ryan Deiss, and Mike Filsaime. And now I'm making a comeback. I noticed recently there has been wave after wave of new shiny tools, especially AI tools, that promise to automatically get you sales. But here's a key insight from my years in the trenches. No cutting edge tool will work if you can't make your prospects want to buy your products. Learning the fundamental sales tactics is crucial to your business survival. In this video, we'll explore 9 essential sales tactics that most entrepreneurs surprisingly miss out on. Live streaming and then retargeting. Every platform out there, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's LinkedIn, they all have right now this push for live streaming, which means that if you go on live, the platforms will push your content to who they believe will actually enjoy it. Now, what they're doing is actually doing you a huge favor, because as they push it to people that they think might be most interested, they're also setting up that audience for you. The people that get exposed to even 3 seconds of our live stream tend to be our very best audience to target with our advertising. So whatever you can talk about, do a live stream as it relates to your business that will get you an audience, and then target that audience with retargeting ads for whatever you sell, and you will immediately get more customers. Done for you is a better offer than I will teach you for most things. Because if I teach you, you still have to do something. Because you've done a lot of the heavy lifting for them, and now they only have to take the last steps. People are not necessarily interested in courses. They're interested in courses so that they can learn something, so that they can do something, so that they can get something, right? If you can shortcut that process, the more effort that you take off of your prospects' shoulders and put it on you, the better your offer seems. In internet marketing, it's called done for you. So you have to take a look at what it is you're offering right now, and you need to think about how can you make it even easier. A great example of this, it's a big business textbook type case study, but valuable nonetheless, is that both Blockbuster and Netflix were in the business of enjoying home entertainment at the end of the day. But the Netflix system was a superior way for the customer to get that outcome than the Blockbuster system. So what about your business? What can you do to take the effort off of your prospects or customers' shoulders and put them on you? You're taking a prospect that is ideally in a Doug situation, right? Desperate, urgent, gravity. What problems does your prospect or does your customers to be, your future customers, what problems do they have that have gravity? In other words, they have consequences, they're serious. They are desperate to get them handled, and they want it handled yesterday. They're urgent. So desperate, urgent, and gravity. And you want to introduce your prospects to what we would call a UFO, a unique fantasy object, a way for them to get rid of that desperation, urgency, and gravity, and get that outcome that they most want in a way that they weren't expecting and is easier than what they might have thought. How do you make sure that you're targeting the right problem, the right dilemma? Really dissect winning offers or winning sales letters or winning advertisements in
any given market where he's interested in diving in. And then looking at that offer, like that, let's say a competitor sales letter that's crushing it, and identifying what's the problems that, based on this sales letter, right, that is doing really well, what problems is the sales letter like identifying and saying it will resolve? What pain is it trying to eliminate? What frustrations is it identifying and eliminating? What's the dilemma, if there isn't one, right? Who's the avatar? And then what are the wants, desires, and fantasies? And on the negative side, what problem, pain, and frustrations does this sales letter seem to be speaking to? And then based on the problems, frustrations, and pain, and the wants, desires, and fantasies, what can we say about the avatar that has these? And what dilemma are they trying to solve? And based on looking at that, what's working in a market, it's pretty easy to determine what will resonate. And so that was his way of coming up with the killer offer. One of the strategies that the salespeople used was ask someone the question of why today. They're not going to give you the real answer up front, because if you really knew what had motivated someone, once they tell you what is really driving them, the likelihood of them being able to say no is not very high. And so people just generally do not give that information off the cuff, but they're not necessarily hiding it either. That answer wouldn't be the real answer up front, but if you pressed, you could get it. So same with coaching though, but with coaching, people just open up and they need to tell you what's going on. And by you coaching a few people, you often can get a very good idea of what are those underlying tones that really are the reasons why people want to buy. My favorite type of marketing to do is doing a launch, and my favorite type of launch to do is to do it in real time. In other words, not the 4-video approach that has become very popular over the years, but prior to that 4-video approach coming out, it used to be much more of entering into a conversation with the marketplace, knowing the trajectory or the end result of where you wanted to take people, but not knowing necessarily how you were going to get them there. It wasn't all planned out in sequence. It was much more, okay, I have this thing to sell. I know what I want to sell. And I'm going to start the conversation where people are, and then we'll just see how we take them there. And that was my favorite way. That is still to this day my favorite type of marketing to do, because you really are entering into a conversation with a group of people, and then to figure out, okay, what do we do today to move people closer to buying tomorrow than they are today? The whole purpose of the copy is to set up a visual in the person's mind of where they're going to be, what life is going to be like. You're creating a picture. If I'm selling my coaching program, I don't want people to think of it as a coaching program. What you want them to feel, though, is that this thing that they're buying is really going to walk them step by step. I want them to think of it as I'm offering them the opportunity to learn a skill that provides more, like complete freedom, more freedom than anything else that anyone can ever offer them, which is that it's the ability to take any idea, turn it into a business that ultimately you can get free of. So it's really, what I'm offering you is freedom and financial security for the rest of your life. One of the things that helps is a follow-up process, one that tries to sell the crap out of whatever you offered on the webinar. You can basically you can double the amount of sales that you get from the webinar in the follow-up. So if you sell 5% of the people who show up on the webinar, you will sell another 5% of those people who showed up on the webinar in the follow-up. After that follow-up campaign is done, I would incentivize getting at the real reason why someone didn't buy. I would bribe them. If you're willing to write me a real answer as to why you didn't buy, I will read all answers, and any real answer, I will send you back this. It might be 2 reports or something that of value. And they're going to tell you actually their self-doubts or what missing knowledge they feel they have or other things. Any way that you can surface objections is really valuable. One way to do it is the way I just explained with the reports. Now that you know this, what would still stand in your way of getting the results?
The most knowledgeable people in direct response determined that at the end of the day, the three most important things to get sales are targeting, offer, copy, in that order. And a lot of times the way it's broken up is 40% targeting, 40% offer, and 20% copy. An offer can be lackluster and therefore require lots of convincing, but a well-crafted copy can bridge that gap, engaging potential customers and highlighting the benefits of what you're presenting. Sharpen your copywriting skills by clicking the link at the end of this video to uncover my top tips for crafting irresistible copy. Additionally, if you're keen on innovative online growth strategies, don't miss my video titled 9 Genius Online Marketing Strategies You've Never Heard of. I'll also include both of these links at the end of the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insight to higher profits and beyond.